In 2 miles, turn right onto Silver Valley Road.
Hi, Mrs. Patrick.
Hi, how are you?
doing?
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh man,
my goodness.
This has been on the list. All right. So it turns out that the Patricks run a summer program for kids, and they got them kids here. And now I got the watermelon couch under a tree. I guess we're about to have watermelon story time. What inspired you to start farming out here?
Well, I learned farming when I was 6 years old with my great-grandmother in Birmingham, Alabama. Actually, Pine Hill, Alabama. She's been gone a long time, so it always stayed in my heart. But so my wife and I moved out here about almost 12 years ago, and we looked at this place. We said, you know, we could build a farm out here. So we're black farmers. We think that it's important to distinguish that we are out here to do something different. So we actually have started this school to teach young people how to become farmers. So they always have a trade. No matter where they go, they'll learn. And of course, we're teaching them leadership principles as well. So we think this is a good time to really spread our wings, and we love young people. We've had several schools in the inner city, Compton, LA, Inglewood. So we're believing that this is a time for us to really reach back and touch the young people, the future farmers of Newberry Springs.
Like a true pastor.
Yeah.
Hey, could you just say your name and what you do?
My name is Pastor Charles Patrick. I pastored a church in Compton for 17 years. And right now we're teaching youth how to become leaders in their community, how to make straight A's, how to take control of their bodies and not let the body become something that hurts the community, but to be productive in their communities. To start a business, and we're teaching them how to start a business with no money. Very important. Teaching them how to start a business with no money. We've done it for years. Olympics in 1984, everything was started with no money. It's the ideas that you come up with. People will support those ideas. They'll pay for ideas.
Yeah. Pastor Charles, thank you. All right.
Okay, James.
So you're out here. The kids are ready. Why don't you tell us about how you got started farming, and maybe what led you to watermelon?
I'll go back even farther than that. Before we came up here, we came up in 2008. Somebody just showed us Newberry Springs. It took us 2.5 hours from Compton, California to get here. A long time. We said, are we gonna ever get there? Anybody ever heard the movie, Are We There Yet? We kept saying, are we there yet? When are we gonna get there? Come on. So we went and saw a lot of property, and we made a bid on the property, but it didn't happen. So later on, we came, and the lady told us the address where we need to go, so we finally got up here and we went to the property that we wanted to buy, and it was trashed. Everything was gone. It was glass everywhere. So on our way back out of Newberry Springs, we saw this property. My wife said it said for sale by owner. I said, oh, let's stop. So we stopped, pulled up in the driveway. My wife got out, Gwen got out, and she came to the door, and this old Hispanic man came to the door, and he said, hi. He couldn't speak English, but he beckoned her to come with him. And so when she got to the fence, I jumped out of the car because she was getting beyond my sight. I couldn't see where she was going. First thing we saw was the pool, and I said, oh, a pool, oh my goodness. We gotta take a look at this property. As we walked through, we saw a lake behind it with a beautiful lake. I said, this may be the place. And as we got to the side, we saw 12 albino goats. I said, this is the place. We're gonna get this place. So we took a little while, but on September 26, 2012, we bought the property. We came up here, and before we bought the property, the Lord told me the name of this property is gonna be called Foundation. And he told me, I said, what's the name, Lord? He said, the name is gonna be Foundations for Future Generations. So that's still the name of the property, the name of this particular organization. And we've, in our hearts, we knew that we were gonna build a youth center eventually, and it's coming. You all are part of this youth center because you're the first class we've had like this. We've had classes before, but not like this. And then way in the back, we're gonna have a school. Way in the back, we're going to have a nice school for those who want to be on campus. It'll probably accommodate about 100 children, 50 women, 50 girls, and 50 boys. They'll be living on campus. We have 17 and a half acres here. The first 6 months we got it, somebody came out and did a story on us, and somebody said, my wife said, honey, you know, I see this I see a greenhouse, the makings of a greenhouse in this area. Within about 5 years, we got that greenhouse, and it was a donation. We had somebody to build it, but it was a donation. It didn't cost us anything. And now we have 3 greenhouses. Thank you. Go Decker. 3 greenhouses. So we can take off from there, Miss Patrick. We can start off with the watermelons. We decided to grow watermelons 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And, well, our watermelon story circles around really this property and what we really wanted to do. You know, in our hearts, we always wanted to leave a legacy, leave something. And it's so important that when you grow up and you have children, that you have something that you leave to them, something special, something that will continue for generation and generation and then through other generations. So we were glad to have a space, a growing space on this property, which we do. And one of the crops is watermelon. And we found out last year that watermelon loves this property, and we love watermelon.
And they love the heat.
So last year we grew watermelon, we grew pumpkins, we've grown broccoli, and we've growing tomatoes right now. Watermelon is growing in the
Sweet
greenhouse,
potatoes.
#1. But our real big crop last year, the biggest success was sweet potatoes. And so we had sweet potatoes that were this big.
Huge.
Huge sweet potatoes that grow. So they love the ground. But it's important what you have going in the ground, okay? Good soils. Does somebody know what do we need? What needs to happen to give a good environment for growing? Yes. Water. What else do we need? Air. What else do we need? Sun. What else do we need?
Soil.
Oh, did you say oil?
Soil.
Soil. Okay, we're talking about what
Good
else
soil.
in that soil?
The vitamins.
Nutrients and
Nutrients.
vitamins, things that we don't see are going on in that soil, okay? And so sometimes even some little insects kind of help, because some insects eat the other insects that would hurt our watermelon plants. So our biggest watermelon story is the sweetness of the watermelon. We got
real
good
sweet.
watermelon. We're here in Newberry Springs. This is considered the desert, where very few things people expect to grow in the desert because of a lot of the sand is sand. It's just sand and rock. So what you have to do is add what are called amendments to the soil in order to get a good crop. But we've been blessed. As you look around, you can see that this land that we have has what? Trees all over it. In fact, we're sitting in front of a eucalyptus tree, an old eucalyptus tree. So you can do anything, you put your mind to it. You can have whatever it is that you desire. If it's a righteous desire, then God will bless it. But don't let anything stop your dream. Whatever comes to your heart that you want to do, don't ever say, oh, I can never do that. That's too big. It'll cost too much. It'll take too long to get to. No. Find a dream that's in your heart like a seed, because guess what? God plants seeds of hope in our heart. So just like the watermelon seed, you find out whatever is in that seed on the inside of your heart that you want to do or become. Pastor Patrick, he was saying, what do we want to become in life? And he says this all the time, because he knows that he's putting dirt on that seed that's already on the inside, nutrients to help it to grow.
Okay. Dreaming, the visions. When some of you said you wanted to be president, some of you said you wanted to be a nurse, some of you said you wanted to be some kind of musician or something. And I said, if the dream came out of you, which is greater, you or the dream? If the dream came out of you, which is greater, you or the dream?
Dream.
You are greater because it came out of you. You're greater than the dream. You're the dreamer. Okay? And I've dreamed so many things, and most of the things that I've dreamed, if I dream them over and over again, it came to pass. During the Olympics, we had the second largest transportation network next to the Department of Transportation in LA. When the LA, in 1984 with the LAOOC, the Olympics. But the dream came out of me. And a lot of people didn't believe the dream was gonna happen, but it happened. My brother and I argued and everything, but it happened. You are greater than your dream. You're greater than what you say you want to be. And just starting out that, it's gonna be something greater than what you even dreamed about. If you stay focused on what you say, whom you say you are. Because if you said you are it, you are a doctor, you are the president, you are a lawyer, you are a nurse. We believe that in whatever you dream, you can become. You will become if you dream and think about it most of the time.
Okay, so what do you, so what's your background in farming?
I started my farming back when I was about 5 or 6 years old in Pine Hill, Alabama. My great-grandmother.
So some of their ages.
I was just some of their ages, 5 or 6 years old. I was a little bitty guy, but my grandmother took us out and we picked beans and beets and all kind of things that she actually planted. I didn't see how she planted, but I know it was coming off the tree. We used to shuck the peas out, and black-eyed peas would be in a big bowl, and we would have black-eyed peas. And these are so good, but all I knew is it came out of the ground. So my wife and I, we came up here, we said, we're gonna do something with this ground. So we have been seeing some things come out of this sandy loam soil. That's what kind of soil it is. Sandy loam soil.
And some of them here, who saw the black-eyed peas? Who helped me pick black-eyed peas yesterday? Remember, we had some, some in the front. We have black-eyed peas out there growing too.
It started out with a seed. Remember, whatever that seed is, that's what's gonna grow out of it. Watermelon seed. We grew watermelons last year, and because of the watermelon seeds, we pulled all the watermelons out, and we took them to church, and we came back. In fact, I went to New Jersey and came back about 3 weeks later, and the watermelons had started growing again. So we took all those watermelons out. We said, let's clean the watermelon field out, and we did. But you know what? This year, because the watermelons can't grow in real cold weather, so the ground got cold during the winter. But when the ground started getting warm, the watermelons started coming up. So now we can see about 15 watermelons out there now growing on their own. We didn't plant the seed. The seed was still in the ground.
How many of you have eaten some watermelon and the seed was still in the watermelon, and what did you do with the seed? Most time, you swallowed yours.
That's what I do.
What do you do?
Usually I pick them out or I put them in a paper towel and then sometimes my mom measures them.
Oh,
Awesome,
good.
awesome.
Did anyone ever do something different with the seed when you ate the watermelon and it had it in it? What did you do with it?
I just threw it out.
You say it again. You did what?
I just threw outside.
You spit it outside.
Did you spit it out?
No, I threw it.
Oh,
You
you
threw it out.
Threw it outside.
Well, I know that it has antioxidants and stuff, so I actually made like powder kind of with it. I let it dry and kind of made like a ground powder.
Wow.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
made like a smoothie powder and put it in water. I'll put it in my smoothie.
Ah.
Wow, that is
That's
very
smart.
industrious.
What else? What do you do with it?
I put it in bird seed.
In bird.
Bird seed.
Ah, use it as bird
You
seed.
guys are serious.
You know what I used to do with the watermelon? I'd take a big bite of it, and the seed was in my mouth. I would spit it out on the ground, and guess what?
It started growing.
Yes, it could grow. And so sometimes you accidentally lose a seed. What happened with us with tomatoes at our school? We had a charter school, high school, and some of the kids ate their hamburger that had some tomato in it, but some of the seed from the tomato that was
Fell
on
on-
their hamburger went into the schoolyard. And a few months later, we saw this thing. We thought it was a weed. We said, looks like a strange weed. It wound up, I think we got about 5 tomatoes off.
Nice
It was
tomatoes off.
The tomato
From the
off
hamburgers.
of the hamburger. Isn't that something? So a seed, don't ever discard your seed or think
Everybody
that
in their
seed is
seats.
nothing.
Everybody in their seats.
Okay, come back, Micah.
Okay, back in your seats.
Don't ever think that seeds are not important. They're important. They're valuable. And if you can save them until you dry them.
Declan, you guys.
And put them in the ground, they'll grow for you. Now, what we have here for our young people, and everyone here that comes to our program has planted a seed. Every single one, except those that just came today. So before you leave today, you are going to plant a seed. It's very important that we all realize that that's where life starts, with the seed, okay? It's God's plan. It's the way that he wanted it to be done. Somebody said, why didn't he just give us all the mature fruit and vegetables and all that? We don't have to plant seeds. He knows that. What do we learn? One of the things you learn, when you have to wait, what is that called?
Patience.
Patience. He knows that patience, seeds have to be patient. We have to put them under the ground, let them actually die, but they have to have water and all that. That seed could say, I want to be a tomato right now, tomorrow.
Not going to happen. Won't happen.
Won't happen. It has to have the patience and the time. Somebody said the sun and the water and the air. And guess who else needs sun and water and air?
And patience.
Us.
And patience. Because you're going to grow and become something great.
Yes.
Someone great.
Yes, you will. Some of you, we already see the greatness in you. We already see it. Okay?
Is it hard work being a farmer?
Yes.
You know, it's hard.
It's lots of work.
It's a lot of work. We need help. It's a lot of work. But the results, when you see the fruit coming out of the ground, the Bible says the hardworking farmer waits until the harvest comes because he's the first one to sample the fruit. And we see that fruit coming, it brings joy to our hearts.
Yes, because when we're farming, the tool, what do we use? The kind of tools that we use. We have to use tools for digging. We have to use tools for watering, of course, water hoses. We have to use tools for digging the hole that the seed is going to go into. We have to have rakes. What else do you think we need out there?
Water.
Okay.
Sunlight.
Some other things. You might have seen it. We have shovel. Weights. Oh, when we're farming.
Rakes.
Oh, rakes.
Yes.
Yes, you're correct. Rakes. Okay. We have to pull weeds. It's not easy. You know, it takes work and diligence. Okay.
Declan.
But it's worth it. Worth it. All the hard work pays off. Anything that you invest your time in, you put your time in, it will come back to you. It will come back to you. So what we're doing is showing our young people here, okay, that maybe they don't live on a farm or they live in a place where it's, you know, like an apartment or something like that. So we know that we have to be able to show everyone the real side of life, okay, is knowing where everything started. And we're going to be visiting some other farms so that they can look at chickens and ostrich and ducks. And some of you here are living on some farm, geese, exotic birds, with a lot of things that are here in Newberry Springs. And so we're part of the whole system of life. We see the circle of life being here in Newberry Springs.
Yes.
So we're here to share that with our young people, with the next generation.
Future farmers of Newberry Springs and Barstow and Yermo. Yeah.
And Daggett.
And Daggett.
Share what you brought up earlier about watermelon.
Oh, it could be a racist term.
Yeah, and how do you hear about that?
At my school, some people are racist over there, and they like to make jokes about it, only to black people.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna pass that over to the Patricks. What are your thoughts on that?
Never heard the term before mentioned. Maybe in a movie, you know, it was a slur or something, but I just threw it out of my mind. But watermelons are good for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. Nourishing.
So did you ever feel racism when thinking about watermelon or thinking about what it means to be black and farming watermelon?
No, never crossed my mind.
Well, that's one reason that education is important, okay? Because a lot of times you'll hear stories about different things, whether it be racist or whatever, but if you don't check it out for yourself, okay, then you'll stay ignorant, just like those people that say watermelon is racist. That's like saying grapes are only for Asian people. Okay? Say it louder.
They say that grape stuff is for black people too.
Yeah. And so you haven't, that's amazing. So what has to happen? It has to start with you. The truth has to start with you. Okay? How many here enjoy the taste of watermelon? And okay, I see all different colors of people here. So whoever said that, we're telling a big fat fib, right? Because our perception is no. God made everything. He made every seed, and he did not put a stamp of this is for you, this is for you, this is not for you. I learned in cooking about bok choy. Anybody ever heard of bok choy?
Yeah.
Okay. Bok is delicious, but most people say, oh, that's just for Asian people. Have you ever heard of that? Bok choy? Some of you haven't even heard of bok choy, but what I had to study, and I found out that it's so good in stir-fry vegetables. Children, get educated, but start with yourself. Google something, somebody says something, and you know, like you said, something's wrong with that. Find out for yourself so that you have the truth on the inside.
And one thing that when people say racist things, there's actually a term for that. And so I want everybody to repeat after me. Stereotypes. Stereotypes. And so when people make jokes that are racist, or when people make big generalizations that all people are this and all people are that, it's called a stereotype, which means that it can have some truth to it, but it doesn't have a good base for it, right? Because so many stereotypes are real, and if you believe the stereotypes, then it's gonna keep you from following your dreams. If they say girls can't play sports or girls aren't good at sports, some girls aren't good at sports, but some guys aren't good at sports as well. So it's the stereotype that they're telling. So think about how many people think about stereotypes. But now when you hear a stereotype about watermelon, you can say, I know watermelon farmers. And watermelon's for everybody, so it's not just for black people. You get it? All right, so now you guys got something to take away from. Stereotypes. Yeah, go ahead. All right, everybody put up the peace sign.
Watermelon!
Watermelon cow.
Woohoo!
And now everybody do a silly face.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.